welcome back to another one of my YouTube videos. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Pam. I am a licensed esthetician in Atlanta, Georgia. I am the owner of Glasskinspa. I'm also a part-time reseller, but overall I'm a mom of two. If you click this video, it's because a part of you wants to learn how to resell clothing, or you have a ton of clothes that you want to get rid of and you don't know where to start. You don't know where to start posting, or you don't know how to start pricing items. So in today's video, it's actually my first online reselling video that I make in my YouTube channel. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a history of how I started selling online. So it may be a little bit of a long video. I'm going to try not to make it a long video, but if so, just prop your headphones on, and you don't have to look at me throughout this full video, but I want you guys to listen because this is something that I researched so much, and it was very hard to find YouTubers that gave me the advice that I'm going to give you guys today. So if you want to know more, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel for more of this content, and share with anybody that you think might want to start making some extra money. A mom, a friend, anybody that you know that has been also hoarding a lot of crap in their garage who might need this. A little history of how I started online reselling. It all started back in 2016 when my daughter was about a year old. I started on Facebook Marketplace, and I honestly sold a lot of my stuff to people that I knew on Facebook. A lot of the people that were my Facebook friends would post an item that I no longer wanted or no longer fit. I would sell here and there, but it was honestly all of Chloe's clothes that no longer fit her, and also clothes that I just no longer wanted. Fast forward to 2019 when my son was born. After he grew out of his baby clothes, I also would post those on Facebook Marketplace, and I actually also joined some Facebook pages where you can resell like brand name clothing, or specific pages that you could join. There were some that you could only post brands like Zara, H&M. When I sold a lot of those clothes, I didn't know any better. Like, I didn't do my research. I didn't really know how to price my items. And I sold a lot, but I also lost a lot of money because I didn't have a scale back then. And what all those pages would require was for you to measure your packages before posting them. If you were to make a thread, if you were to make a thread of all the items that you had for sale, like, you would go and post them on the comments, and whoever was interested in your item, they would go and comment their email, and you had to send them invoices through PayPal. So PayPal has its own little shipping labels that you can pre-make, but you have to pretty much create those on your own. And that is, the shipping cost is based on where the person lives and also how much your item weighs. That was a little bit challenging for me. I had to take some guesses, and I took a lot of loss on those items. I emptied out a lot of my bins as well, because all of my items, I was giving them away for cheap. And I remember this one lady told me, "Are you sure you want that much for your item? Like, have you looked into how much your shipping is going to cost?" And I didn't really want to waste any more time. I honestly wanted to just sell a lot of the stuff that I had. So I didn't really think about pricing or think about shipping cost. And obviously PayPal also charges you a fee to create labels for them. So when I started with that, it was just honestly in trial and error. I learned from it, and to this date I don't sell anything on those pages because I still don't know how to properly weight a package and insert all those numbers and width and height. It's just a lot. It's very tedious. In 2020, I moved into my mom's house to pursue school, and during that time I had a bartending job, and I also work at a medical office. But since I got accepted into school, I started to think of ways to make money from home. Aside from COVID being around at that time as well, I knew that I was going to minimize my hours at work, and I knew that I was also going to stop working at the medical office that I was in. So I had to think of ways to make money from home. I knew that I was very passionate about online reselling. So I did a lot of a lot of research on apps and on places where you can sell your items on, especially kids, because I had a ton of kids items. I feel like that is where I'm very passionate about, is reselling kids clothes. And I had downloaded eBay. I had downloaded another page, and those did not work out for me. Once I started school, I downloaded Mercari, which within the first week I made my first sale on Mercari. I also downloaded this website called Kidsin, and I also sold a bunch. My first sales was actually a bundle of a bunch of things, which I was very shocked. A lot of the items that I sell on Kidsin are bundled, and which I absolutely love. And I'm gonna go into detail on why I like each and every one of the pages that I resell my stuff on. While I was in school and I was reselling online, I pretty much would use that money to either pay off my credit cards, or to buy my kids more clothes, or to just simply make ends meet on my bills. So I'm gonna tell you guys in order all of the pages that I currently sell my clothes on. So I do Mercari, I do Kidsin, I do Poshmark, I sometimes do Facebook Marketplace. I also sell through my Instagram stories, which all of my Instagram friends and my Facebook friends can view those items as well. And if they're interested, I give them a discount because they are local, so they don't have to pay for any shipping or any additional costs that any of those online apps charge me to sell my clothes. And I also gather a bunch of clothes that don't sell for me. I put them in a bin and I take it to either Kid to Kid or Once Upon a Child, which both stores have their pros and cons, and I'm going to go into detail with that. Just like with the online app stores, I'm going to go into detail on why I like each and individual one. So once I did my research on all of the online apps, I honestly did start with Poshmark. I had already had a page situated, and I had not logged into Poshmark in years. I want to say about like 3 years, and I only had like one item posted on there. And it was unfortunate because I had sold one item which I never actually got to see that I sold it, so the person canceled it, and I felt so bad about it. I actually went back and I messaged that person and I apologized, and that was a sports bra that they had bought for me, but since they saw that I didn't ship it, they canceled the order, and I actually sold that sports bra on Facebook Marketplace. So I restarted with Poshmark and I started listing things on there. And then when I got into school, I started selling on Mercari. I downloaded Mercari, and like I said, within my first week, I was already making sales. And with Kidsin as well, my first sale was a bundle. So let's talk about Mercari and how it works. You have to have a description on your item, and you have to weigh your item, but it's so super easy because it gives you different types. It gives you the cost of how much an item is depending on the weight. So Mercari pretty much does that all for you. You just have to weigh your item, and if you're looking for a specific scale that you could use that is not too big, I have this scale that I purchased on Amazon on my storefront. If you guys want to go check that out. This is the scale that I got on Amazon. It tells you the ounces and the pounds once you put your item on here. What I suggest is that once you package your item, or even if you have to put your item in one of your shipping bags, you can go ahead and put the item on here, measure it, and just insert that into your Mercari listing. The only thing with Mercari is that, just like Poshmark, you have to wait until your item is delivered to the buyer to be able to get paid. And another thing that I've learned with each and every one of your listings on these different types of apps is that you have to have the correct weight. If you don't have the correct weight, you are gonna have to pay extra once the package is delivered. It's happened to me before, so this is why I'm telling you guys now that if you don't have the right weight on that package, you're gonna end up losing money on that item because Mercari is going to charge you the difference. Now let's move on to Poshmark. Poshmark has a set shipping label, which is I think like $7.80 or something like that. So anything that weighs less than 5 pounds, I believe 5 or 10 pounds, I can't remember, I have to go look that up. But if your package weighs more than 5 or 10 pounds, you have to insert that weight. And this is with like large items that you're sending, big toys, anything like that. Your buyer will get charged the difference upon shipping. So that's one thing I like about Poshmark. You don't really have to measure your items unless they are over a certain amount of pounds. Another thing that I do like about Poshmark is that a lot of their shipping labels are priority mail, which means that you don't have to use any of your personal shipping bags or boxes to be able to ship any item from Poshmark. You can actually order these priority mail padded flat rate envelopes, or you can order the boxes and you get them for free. These are free, guys. You do not have to pay anything. I go on the USPS website and I order them and I get a huge box of them. You just have to select if you want these type or you want the smaller kind or you want the boxes, but these are free. And anytime I get a package from Poshmark, I try to always pack it in these or in a box, and I always try to make my packaging cute because your seller will always appreciate that extra touch of uniqueness in their package. Now, one thing I don't like about Poshmark, again with Mercari, it's about the same thing. You do not get paid until the buyer gets their product. So you do have to wait a couple of days until that buyer gets the product and they rate it. Let's move on to Kitson. Kitson is one of those apps where it is all about mom and kids. So you have the option to sell your clothes and your children's clothes. On that app, you also have to weight your package because it does give you different options depending on what your package weights. For Mercari and for Kitson, I did get these label bags, which fits most of the kids' clothes in it. Or you can go to Walmart and get the boxes, which are super cheap. They're like 69 cents. But I got a bunch of these bags on Amazon, which I also have this on my Amazon storefront that you can go check out. There's so many cute designs that you can choose from. Honestly, I like this donut one because I just feel like it represents my kids' online stores super well. I might change it to dinosaurs next because I know Lorenzo's super obsessed with dinosaurs. So once these are out, I'm going to order some more. One thing I do love about Kitson is that once your item is shipped and UPS has marked it as shipped, you get paid within that distance. You do not have to wait on the buyer to receive the product. Like, you will automatically see the money in your Kitson account. Now, when I bundle a lot of things that don't sell online apps, I gather a bin and I either go to a Kid to Kid or I go to Once Upon a Child anywhere in my area to sell the items that have not sold online. So with these stores that you go to, a lot of the times when I go to Kid to Kid, I always get the option of getting store credit because you're always going to get a few dollars more when you do store credit. Whereas at Once Upon a Child, you don't do store credit. You automatically get paid cash on the spot. It just depends on your preference. Sometimes I do go and I buy more clothes for my kids at Kid to Kid. So I just choose that option. A lot of the times where I really just need the cash, I go to Once Upon a Child. And there's been a couple of times where I've gotten really a good bang for my buck, which are like $50, $60 for items that I take. So if you are looking to sell your items and buy more of your kids' clothes size, I suggest you to go to Kid to Kid. If you don't know Kid to Kid in the Atlanta area, they have a lot of Kid to Kids, and they have a lot of them have super cute clothes for your kids. So when I started printing out shipping labels back in 2019, I had a printer laptop where I would print out all of my shipping labels when I was selling all these clothes on the Facebook pages. So I would just print those labels out on my printer, and it was very tedious. When I stopped printing those labels out at home, I started going to USPS and printing out all those labels. Now, if you go to UPS and print out these shipping labels, you're gonna get charged a couple cents. But if you want to do everything from the comfort of your own home, I suggest you to go to Amazon. And I also have this printing label on my must-haves in my Amazon storefront. You're going to get a printing label. You're not going to need any ink. And every shipping label that you receive in your email, you will connect your phone's Bluetooth to your printing machine, and it will automatically print all of those labels out for you. You don't have to spend any money on ink. You don't have to spend any money on anything else besides these roller. Once your label is created, you're just going to take the stickiness out. See if you can get it. Then you just put it on your shipping box or your shipping bag. So I highly recommend that printing. It saved me so much time and money. When I started reselling items, I was doing all of my kids' outgrown clothes, which I still do all of my kids' outgrown clothes. But then I started kind of leveling up when I started watching other YouTube videos. I would go to thrift stores and get items that were very close to what I represent in my online stores, or things that were brand new, and I would resell those items. Now, if you are someone who doesn't have any extra cash to invest in going to the thrift store and buying clothes to post on your stores, what you could do is you can contact your family members or your friends that don't want clothes that they will be happy to give you, so that you can have some inventory on your online stores. I think that is like the most important thing to have, is a bunch of inventory, because the more that you post on all of these platforms, the more that your store is going to get seen. So you always want to have a bunch of options out there for people to see that you have a good amount of inventory. I also want to be able to give you guys tips on how to thrift shop, and if that's something that interests you, leave a comment below. I can make another video in the future on tips and tricks thrifting, because I have a lot of juicy tips to give you guys so that you can make some type of income while being home with your kids. I think that is all the tips I have for you guys today. If I missed anything, or if you have any questions about how to make some extra cash at home, like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me on my Instagram or comment down below, and I will see you guys on my next video.